That's why true music lovers make a big switch. And because you have a winner taste, 88.5 FM is your only station.
Let me abruptly regurgitate my point of view vis-a-vis using my perspicacity and ratiocinations as a compos mentis homo sapien and as an erudite and academic juggernaut. Let me delineate the nitty-gritty, the nuts and bolts, and the crinkum-crankum of the status quo. You see, this is not me venting out my garrulity and loquacious monomania in this tete-a-tete. I would never intentionally obfuscate, befuddle, becloud, and buff in a fog and canopy of obnubilation and ago-bago malarkey. Now, let me digress to the crux and focal point of this colloquy. It is dismally lugubrious and dolorously lachrymose that the premium motor spirit, or if you have the proclivity and propensity to refer to it with the layman's nomenclature, which
languid, languorous, and in a financial comatose, they have the intrepidity and temerity to incautiously introduce the endemic and autochthonous excruciating bank charges. What a debilitating, attenuating, enervating, and exasperating situation. The totalitarians, tyrannical and tyrannous politicos, leave the masses in what I call happy-go-lucky and desultory attitudes. The prodigious charges, or if you like, call it taxation, has anomalously caused a proliferate, unabated, skyrocket cost of living in our milieu. Why create a financial tumult, a financial rumpus, in our pockets? The anti-penultimate lemma is melancholious and rebarbative, so it has to be barbiturated, proscribed, annihilated, and decapitated. If not, it will cause another financial bankruptcy, financial dilapidation and lobotomization, financial precipitation, maladroit and malady. The charges has to be barbiturated, or else I will not koto in this poho. I will not koto in this poho. So akatakwo anogenekaro, I will not koto in this poho. The charges has to be barbiturated.
A verisimilitude harangue to my prescient, vigorous, and vociferously vehement gravitas correro. You see, this matter requires a Brobdingnagian ruminative introspection. As an aficionado and academic apparatchik, let me punctiliously and meticulously perorate and adumbrate. You see, it is lugubriously abysmal and dolorously lachrymose that the price of naira keeps nosediving and plummeting in a pernicious, malignant, and maleficent nodus modus, while the price of dollar keeps mushrooming, burgeoning, proliferating, and ballooning to the crescendo and apotheosis in an OTT, boisterous, lickety-split, and chop-chop modus.
In their milieu is sardonic, opprobrious, malevolent, contumelious, erroneous, lugubrious, and clamorously exasperating. Come to think of it, is it that this lazy, lackadaisical, languorous, the pusillanimous and tendentious mannered have forgotten that they own companies? Have they forgotten the role we played in the emancipation of the unforgettable of his blessed memory? I will not koto in your poho. Sententious, inarticulate, and uncommunicative on this act of recidivism, which is the verisimilitudinous xenophobic attack on my consanguinities, thinking it is a path to honorificability dignitatis. Honorificability dignitatis is a verbal prolixity, a sesquipedalian word, a state of achieving honors. Yes, the vilification, languid, jejun, woebegone, an obstinate conspiracy, melancholy that led to this cartel, nauseous, and miasmatic vituperative attack. They are non-compos mentis. This is barbaric and megalomaniacal. What a political holy-bully. What a political hoity-toity. What a political foodie-doody. What a political hocus-pocus they have come with. What a political jabberwocky. What a political poppycock. What a political gobbledygook. This consternation. I ask that you accept my pertinacious circumlocution. Accept my pertinacious circumambiguous grandiloquence and magniloquence. But I will tell you this. I will not koto in Japoho. I will refuse to koto in Japoho.
Because in this particular scenario, I will not tamper justice with men. Who is that arrogant homo sapien that was part of the production process of bringing this infinitesimal being into this wicked world? Young man, it is crystal clear that you're mentally unstable. And this idiot standing before us is a super moon.
See, this is a mendacious, perfidious, fallacious, erroneous, and egregious asseverations, allegations, avowal, and averment, unequivocally and uncontrovertibly certain that I did not fecund, propagate, proliferate, and fertilize this lady's prenatal chambers, ovaries, and ovum. Let me give you the utmost veracity, verity, and dinkum oil, and the cornucopia and gallimaufry of the ingredients of this pandemonium and conundrum. For donkey years and a month of Sundays, we are engaging in pata-pata, rumpy-pumpy, and coitus, but I must admit that I did not fertilize and fecund your ovaries, gook, and prenatal chamber.
And so we join the voices to say TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. But before Friday, it was TGIM, then TGIT, then TGIW, and TGIT, then TGIF. And it's going to be TGIS and TGIS, then it goes back to TGIM. Good afternoon, and thank you so very kindly that you join us for the show, Real Talk on Kings 88.5, with me, Sam Andrews, on the first day of November 2024. Just so you know, we are transmitting from Street, adjacent the Library of Water and Sewer Corporation. We've got the issues to talk about. This too is the Mystery Liberia, typical culture. My name is Sam Andrews. Acknowledgement, those of you who have come on this afternoon, whatever your time zone, wherever you are around the world, welcome to the show. Solowat Kosia, as usual, you've come on from your comfort zone, New Georgia Estate, Gardnersville. Meritule, you are following from New Georgia also. You say thanks for the great show. Thank you for coming on. We are inspired by your presence. Moses Lake, you've come on as usual from Kakata. Vinicius Junior Bar, you are following from New Crew Town, Claude de Port. Hope that you are faring well from there. Philip Kura, you've come on from United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi. Ishmael and David, you are following from Furaman District, Bond County, you said. Mambu Rogers, you've come on from Clara Town, the slum community. We owe it to that place. We lived there for several years. Emmanuel Nelson, you're following from Buchanan City, Grand Bassa County. James Lamine, you've come on. You didn't say from where, but it's good to have you on. Gibson Banda, you've come on from Kenjog, Grand Capeman County. That issue that happened a couple of months ago has gone under the carpet. You're never going to hear it. That is why I refer to this country as Mystery Liberia. Stephen Sarr, you've come on from Manor River, Grand Capeman County. Nathan Bear, that's Blair, B-L-E-H. You are following from Barcelona, Spain. Hope that you are faring well. We are also in sympathy with your next door neighbor, the Basque Country, where the earthquake took place. Otello Ramsey Gatti, you've come on from Gardnersville, Bond County. Darlington Rule, you are following from Grand Capeman County. Brown Deer, you've come on from Arizona, the United States of America. Vamba Mofire Sando, you are following from Caldwell, New Georgia, your residence. Pep George, you are following from, you said Front Street? Yeah, Front and Rounder Street. The best children. Okay, thank you for coming on. Vani A. Sharif, you are following from Grand Capeman County. Elijah Bawiye, you've come on. You didn't say, but you say hello to you. Gabriel Mount, you are following from Banjo, Broadville. You say thanks for the service. Thank you also. We appreciate all of your efforts. Mozak Dennis, you've come on from Minnesota, the United States. Jackson C. Pony, you've come on from Iron Factory, Block C community. Hope that you are faring well. My dear Southeastern sister who never misses out on the show, Dwight, thank you ever so much for coming on. You are following from Minnesota, the United States of America. And time is of the essence. We've got a lot to talk about. We will acknowledge you with the passage of time. Thank you so much. We got a couple of things to talk about. Play the cash money giveaway. The country is hard. You need money. Don't sit and wait for government pay. Government pay is not forthcoming readily. You got the opportunity to get fast, quickest, shortest way of getting money. All you have to do is dial *799*25#, and you play with, okay, yes, the 200 Liberian dollars and 1.5, that's $1.05 United States, and you can win for yourself. You can win for yourself 10,000 Liberian dollars. So continue to play, and no doubt you're going to win. So let's get started with the issues we've got. Today's Friday. I think we will spice it up, but let's talk the little bit we've got, the politics. We can leave it. I try to escape the speakers and his rebel fashions, wahala, but it's hard to escape because it is the topical trending issue right now. But let's start at the Liberia Refugees Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, where they stole the Liberian returnees' money. The president and Joseph Yema Boakai suspended the head Patrick Woolsey along with his two deputies for intentionally, willfully, unregrettably engaging into covert operation to steal the people money. Not only the returnees, but those who helped, because money came from outside as well as the very government. They stole the people money. They concocted. They formed a coup against those Liberians. They created fake names, fake receipts, took the money onto themselves, and gave the impression that they were giving the money to the people. You see how devilish, how deadly, how nasty, how satanic these people are. They ate the people money. I am not going to use any alleged here. We have to stop this thing. In this country, we have to stop it. When people intentionally eat people money without regret, and they know that they ate it, and then you should kind and ethically say, alleged. We're not investigating yet to say alleged. They ate the people money. If no money went missing, or if they did not eat the people money, that riot would not have occurred at TLRC. Neither would the executive director, Patrick Woolsey, announce the suspension of the controller, and other people around him based on the same thing. They ate the people money. I'm not using alleged. I'm entitled to what I think, how I can describe it. So the president and his people did their own investigation, and they soon realized that the information that came out that they ate the people money is true. So the president suspended them. Not only did he suspend them, but according to his office, they must turn over every property, their ID card, every other thing they have of TLRC over. And moreover, they must turn themselves into the LACC for investigation. Patrick Woolsey along with his 2 people. They ate the people money. It was the same Patrick Woolsey who said very illiterately said that when the returnees came, they had Zogos among them. They have pregnant women among them. They have people who don't have boyfriend. They don't have girlfriend. They don't have wives. The man went to information ministry. The other man said, inexperienced, very inept. The same Patrick Woolsey man. It's not a surprise that he led the gang to steal the people money. The same Patrick Woolsey stood before the microphones and cameras and said, the returnees that come into Liberia, the Liberian returnees, Zogos are amongst them. Pregnant women are among them, as if women ought not to get pregnant. He said pregnant women are among them. Most of them don't have power and mind. No husband, no wife, no boyfriend, no girlfriend. The executive director talking about people who, having stayed in refugee camp, they are traumatized. Returning home with that trauma to get de-traumatized or counsel or comfort, the chief head, the person who should be leading the comfort, counseling, and de-traumatizing situation, increase the people's trauma. Very inept. So it's not a surprise that Patrick Woolsey was in the forefront to steal the people money, face fake receipt, created fake telephone numbers, all kinds of things they did, not realizing that somebody was inside observing all of what they were doing. And the guy put it out, the whistleblower, he put it out. It went far and wide. Now the president and his people did their own investigation, even though their office is too corrupt. But in Liberia, the president is never wrong in anything. So Mr. President was suspended. Patrick Woolsey and his deputies, they are being investigated for stealing, eating the people money. You see, and you see government officials, you see rescue, and you see it. They said there were going to be no corruption, there were going to be no shady deeds, there are going to be no business as usual. Business as usual all over the place 3 times, 4 times. So they're gone for investigation. LACC has another one. LACC seems to be overwhelmed in my opinion. And I hope they will not use the TLRC stuff to bury it. The 25,000 report that came out with a reported 15,000 upfront by the Love for Money called the legislature, specifically the House of Representatives. So they are being suspended. Patrick Woolsey and his people, they are to, according to the executive mansion, they have to turn over everything government property they got. They'll have to turn it over and then face the LACC for investigation to tell what, how, when, where, and by whom instruction or who instruction they gang up against their own citizens to not only eat their money, but kill them. Because that is killing. The people coming from out of the country, they coming out of the wilderness. They need a comfort. They need to resettle. Too many things going into it. And then when they think that they have approached or reached their homeland, their own people decided to stab them in the back. That's death in itself. That's killing in itself. All those years, the people stay in refugee camp. And they said, take your people back home. We'll help you to get back, because all of the conditions that existed then to have them stay here, those conditions no longer exist. So, Liberia, please get the remaining back home. We will help you get them back, because we want to use this place for development, even though in your country, development is not a priority. But Liberia, please, take your people from here. We're about to use this place for something developmental. However, we help you. ECOWAS and other people jump in and say, okay, no problem. Given that the government has just taken power, we need to help them with a couple of things, because they're just trying to jumpstart the economy. It's not really booming. So we'll put some money into it so that the people can get resettled. Patrick Wozi and his people saw it now as glorious opportunity. They started eating the people money, starving them in the back, killing their own people. That's death in itself. When a person or people stay in refugee camps for a very long time, they ain't got nothing. They ain't even know how they coming to start here. They ain't even know whether they will have met somebody they knew or a place to sleep. Traumatized by all those conditions, Patrick Wozi and his guys felt that they should get involved and started to eat the people money. You see how wicked it is. Now, if I were Joe Buakai, this thing ain't require any investigation. There are certain things you don't go to turn the people over to LACC. You need to set precedents. You dismiss them immediately. When you dismiss on such condition, it will serve as a warning. It will run into the spines, blood, and bone of the rest of the people who are within the perimeter of the executive. It is possible LACC can say, oh, it happened this way, the people can go back. Moreover, I hope that it will not be like the LDEA investigation that is still pending. But concluding on this, those guys are wicked. They are devilish. That is a devil act. You can wage a devil's war against your own people. Patrick Wozi ought to be dismissed with his 2 deputies. They intentionally, willfully, unregrettably concocted and ate the people money and diverted into their personal pockets so that they will look good all of the time. That why people engage into sinister schemes so that they will look good and the other people look like peasants, downtrodden. Nothing, that they will be at their feet begging for crumbs. That's how it is in Liberia. So they've been suspended and they are told to turn over all government property in their possession. I hope that they will be dismissed. We look forward to hearing that. Hope that they will be dismissed. They need to be dismissed. Those 3 individuals, they are rogues. They are rogues. What Liberian government officials and that curse? You in a place, you executive director, you commerce minister, you presiding over the commerce of the country, you're presiding over millions of dollars, you're presiding over millions of businesses. You're comfortable. You can never ever get broke as long as you dare. And then you stoop so low for $96,000 car. You're presiding over TLRC, a place that is so technical, so much so international partners, they don't take their eyes off that place. They pump money into it. And you stoop so low to engage into faking receipts and creating pseudo numbers and diverting the money into your pocket. Liberian government officials. So here is it. His office said that he has suspended with immediate effect the 3 officials of Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission following serious allegations of financial misconduct. And they are the Executive Director, Patrick Woolsey, Deputy Executive Director for Operations, Richie Huff, and Deputy Executive Director for Administration, A.J. Amakane. According to the President's office, the suspension takes immediate effect and will remain in place without pay pending a thorough investigation by the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. All right. That will be doing it for that. Where do we move next? Next up, we'll talk about the gay situation within the Methodist Church. It's rising again. When we thought it was subsiding or they had reached a resolution on this, it is coming up again. The conflict is widening. We'll talk about that, but let's go to the topical issue. The love of mourning. Now, yesterday, honestly, throughout my broadcast, I had the opportunity to listen to one of the best and insightful analysis of a complicated twist situation by A.B. Williams on Face the Issues last night, putting everything into perspective vis-a-vis the man whom everybody is lambasting, Deputy House Speaker Thomas Fowler. I cannot remember sitting for the next 1-2 hours listening to an analysis of that. Last night, I sat down with no distraction created by myself, neither external, to get a full understanding. And that was one of the best and insightful analysis I have heard as a broadcaster from another broadcaster. That was very insightful, very great of A.B. Williams on Face the Issues. And I felt, as he was giving the analysis from one end to another, that historicity, I soon reached the conclusion that if the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Fowler, is listening to this analysis, I hope he wouldn't be like Judas Iscariot, who ran and hung himself. Because if you are in such a situation and you hear that kind of insightful historical analysis about you, the guilt you will never have the face to come out. That was a great piece, very great piece. How I was into it. I like to hear people giving an analysis that encompasses, that bring out every piece of the jigsaw. Very good, very insightful. And thanks to AB for that analysis. I hope that if you listen to it, there are too many things you can draw from there. Too many lessons it provided for not only the man himself, but everybody who is within the perimeter of political parties or part of political parties. Too many lessons. Stakeholders, political stakeholders, even those who are not within the crust of politics or mainstream of politics, whatever the leadership role you find yourself in, you can pick up a lesson that will guide you going further in your area. That was a great, very insightful analysis last night, how I was into it. And I felt that if this man, Thomas Fowler, is listening, I hope he doesn't do the Judas Iscariot kill or self-hang. So, not going to talk much on that. I know tonight AB is going to give another insightful analysis. He's taking it bit by bit. So we'll just talk in passing on it, and then you wait for AB tonight. But what I want to focus on is the camp. I said yesterday that they have their right. It is unto them to assemble wherever they want to assemble. They are independent financially. They can afford, if they choose, to even charter a jet plane and it remains in the air and they have their meeting there, fine. If they choose to go to Tajikistan or Uzbekistan to have their meeting, fine. Financially, it is unto them. I do not want to jump into the argument of where the money is coming from to sustain themselves, because they are sustainable by who they are. They've got money. They are working people. They are independent. So I wouldn't want to delve into the financial aspect, even though it has substance. But the time wasting is what I think is the cross. And it is being done deliberately, without regret, no remorse. So, the people who elected them. It is the first time, as far as I know of Liberia history politically, the first time that the country is witnessing this petty, elementary, mechanical posture of quote-unquote honorable men and women. That they will divorce themselves, for whatever the reasons, from the rest of their colleagues and go camp. They come to the Capitol building, make noise, and former President Salih couldn't have given any better a description of that. They go to the Capitol, stay there for 30-35 minutes, pretending and acting like they are working in the interest of the people, make noise, and then after 30-35 minutes, they get in their respective vehicles and drive back to RLJ Hotel. So the question is, what is this thing about the removal of the speaker in terms of gravity or insecurity that you will detach yourself or you will choose to live in hotel? What is extra about it? Wouldn't it be normal, and you remain normal, you be at your house, in the morning, you move to the Capitol as you do prior to this situation, and continue your routine. And after your routine discussion, you get back home. Why 42 men and women will choose to just pretend like they are working, doing nothing, after making noise, go to LRJ Hotel, amuse themselves with subtle drinks and food and exchanges, quote unquote, the working out ways to move the speaker? Why do you want to waste your time? Now, who who is stabbing the people in the back? One group is working and the other group is not working. One group has the country ahead and the other group doesn't. Cover block has the country ahead. They have all of the legitimacy, power, and authority. The majority block are only feeding on numbers, majority, but they do not have power, they do not have legitimacy. Hence, they have created a scene that has brought the country to a standstill without regret. Now, know it today, this country is a fake, phony, cursed country. If this was in any other place, those 42 representatives, by now we're talking about death, we're talking about injury, major injury, because the citizens will move. And let me say, nobody should ever attempt frivolous protests in this country, because many of you, out of whatever, or when people give you $1 or $2, then you join with placard. You claim to be protesting. This is the time that you protest, and that is where you direct your protest. And everyone in this country, down to the unborn children, will embrace your protest, because these people have brought the country to a standstill. If you think anything is working, it is an illusion. You're living with an illusion. Nothing is working, because just as God said, when one finger is affected, the rest of the fingers are affected. The executive will portray it like nothing is happening. They're not feeling the effect, but they are feeling the effect. The judiciary will portray it like they're not feeling the effect, but they are feeling the effect. The other side of the legislature, called the Senate, will portray it like they aren't feeling the effect, but they are feeling the effect, because there is always a spillover effect once you share proximity. Common sense, common knowledge, once you share proximity, anything to the contrary, it affects the person close to you. So it affecting the Senate, but they will not want to show it in a more transparent way. But those 42 guys, they are Liberia's problem. And you guys are lucky. You're right. You're right. We live in a softly country. We live in a country where you think that nothing can happen. But one day, everything will come to an end. One day, God himself will rise up. And you don't want God to rise up, because when the people are groaning, when the people are complaining, when the people are being subdued, when they are being suffocated, when they are being subjected to nothingness, and they are crying, and the leaders cannot get into the cries of the people, yet will continue to subject the people, God himself can move in, needing no human effort. I've read a line in 2 Samuel. From the time I read that line, the chill came on me. You know what it said? It said God kills. God himself kills. God himself brings to life. God himself makes rich. God himself makes poor. God himself enslaves. These few days, I was reading the Bible. I just went through it without prepared mind. And the cold bomb, I got scared. Listen, everything that we do on earth, as long as we exist on earth, there are two things we exist with: human aspect and the spiritual aspect. Why the spiritual? Because God is hovering us. His spirit, we can't see him, but he sees. God himself can move on behalf of the people. He did it all around the world. He's still doing it. He's done it in Liberia. Some of the things that we went through in this country, who told you that God is not aware? Who told you that God was not aware that Ebola was coming to Liberia? That he couldn't stop it? Who told you that God was not aware that COVID-19 was coming to Liberia? It was going to hit Liberia hard. Who told you that all of those other things, natural disasters that are occurring all around the place? Who told you that God is not aware and they can't happen to Liberia? God himself, when he gets ready, he can punish Liberia with earthquake. God himself, when he gets ready, he can punish those officials. When he gets ready, he can start taking them down one by one. He did it before, he stayed doing it. When you sit down, when you go in church, and then you hear the pastor say, he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. You think you're just talking about God being good? No. It simply means that his personality cannot change, but his methodology of dealing with people can change, depending on the kind of thing that you do. If another person is not suffocating God's people and doing what is right, treating them right, God will treat him with mercy, with blessing. If the next man on the other side, taking the people money, 25,000, 15,000, and boasting and showing no regret and going in hotel and amusing himself, that situation there will cause God to move based on it to inflict pain. When you hear that verse, Hebrews 13:8, that's what it means. His dealing with people are different based on the situation, but himself as a person cannot change. You be careful. You don't have the fear of God, and all of you people are in church. Some of you are Muslims. Today, you're going to the mosque, or you people went to the mosque because it's after 1 o'clock. You stole the people money. You took bribe, and your roof forbids you. Thanks to AB for opening my eyes to that. I didn't know that their own rules forbids them from taking bribe. And they know that very well, but they're hiding it. They don't want that one to come up. But they will complain the speaker of conflict of interest when their very act, they contradict the very act by engaging into bribe. You be careful. No fear of God. You people are Christians. You people are Muslims. Some of you in our 42, you people are Muslim. You went to the mosque and you're buying and you say you're praying. Those of you who are Christians, Sunday coming, day after tomorrow, you will drive in your tinted windshield and go in the church and say you're worshiping God. And how empty your worship will be. Let me tell you, listen, you don't waste your time. You don't waste your time. If I were any one of you, I would not waste my time and say I'm going to church on Sunday. What are you going to do? What are you going to offer God? Deadly heart? Because God in heaven knows that the heart is deadly. The fact that you can do this thing to his people, it is a devilish heart. So your worship will not be accepted. That's why he said in Jeremiah 17:9, you're looking up. He said, the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can discern it thereof except the Lord? So the man already knows. 1 Samuel 16, he said, man looks at the heart, but man looks at the outward appearance, but he, God, looks at the heart. All that you people are doing, running to our LJ, moving in convoy, God can just create one thing, that whole convoy accident occur. The next thing you hear, XYZ lawmaker or die on the spot, and you'll be thinking that people wish you or popular medicine. No, God in heaven can avenge different ways on behalf of his people. That's why he said in Romans chapter 12, verse 19, he said, vengeance is mine. Vengeance is mine. What is that? No fear. You say you're Christians. You're Muslims. So how you're Christians and Muslims now? You go to the mosque. Sunday, you're going to church, you're sinner. And you're sinner in the front row. You think to say you are Christian is just to say, amen, hallelujah. I've been in a church, and this is my church. I'm a Catholic. I'm a Pentecost. You think that's all to it? It's not doing what God forbids you not to do. You inflicting injustice, pain. You're suffocating the people. And you're provoking them You make noise in 30, 35 minutes. Then you get in convoy. You drive to RLJ Hotel. Nothing is happening in the meantime. Nothing is happening. So how you guys feel now? How you guys feel? So the people were stupid to elect you? Are you guys telling them they were so dull? It was wrong for them to elect you? Is that what you're telling the people? Why? Why? Why you would treat your own people like this? And people out of Liberia make mockery. Liberian lawmakers. What are they doing for the people? Foreigners who are here, I am telling you, because we get in the midst of those people. We give deaf ear to some of the things that they say. They mock our officials in this country in a low tone. Sometimes 2-3 persons sitting on the table, they are not Liberians, they're hearing some things. They're discussing us, and they're discussing us in the negative. Not that they do not have problem too. Not that corruption isn't in their country. Not that besides Liberia, all the other countries are corruption-free, injustice-free, and on we can go. No. But they have a system in place. They have a mechanism in place by which the livelihood of the people improves gradually. Otherwise, they laugh at us because they see no progress. But progress unto the leaders themselves, the politicians. How you guys feel now? Sunday, you're going to church. How you feel when you go to your houses and you're sitting alone? What kind of conscience you have? The people who elected you, they put risk their life. Some of the people that elected you, that strive for you to get elected, some of them die. Nothing. It is not the big gown that you wear and go to the mosque and say you are Islamic legislator. It's not a court suit that you wear and go to church bragging that you are a Christian legislator. You Christian legislator, there's no fear in the house. You Islamic legislator, there's no fear in the house. Your faith is not seen in the house. From you, no fear for the very God you claim to worship, no fear for the very Allah you claim to be worshiping. And the Quran forbids these kinds of things. No imam can tell me that the Quran does not forbid these kinds of things, suffering of people, injustices, corruption, and on and on. No imam can tell me. Because I will give him one surah and let him tell me whether that surah is saying something else. No pastor can tell me that the Bible does not forbid these kinds of things that are happening. They are all over from Genesis to Revelation. And there are punishments God laid out in the Bible for anybody who would do these kinds of things to his people. You waste time. Go to legislature. Just make noise. Then you go to camp. The first time in the history of the whole world, since God created the world, legislative governance came into being. Liberia, the only country with that kind of history. One moon speaker, the camping. You want a moon speaker? You got to go to camp again. What are you camping for? What are you wasting the people time for? Then the executive sitting down there enjoying it too. But you know why? God has a way of turning the wheel. When you're enjoying something against another person, he has a way of bringing it back to you so that you will feel it. That's why he said, do unto others as they will have them do unto you. As much as you feel you're concocting against the speaker so that he will be removed, God has a way of creating another situation that will go against you, and everybody will support that person against you. So one group working and the other group not working. Now they got a conference. They got this conference with the Supreme Court on Monday, the 4th. After making big mouths, after shouting and screaming, after ranting in the hall, the majority bloc, yeah, what they were saying. Like, oh, yeah. But man, you sometimes you wonder there's difference going to school and actually learning to the deaf. Some people go to school, but comprehension, reasoning, no, the IQ low. You receive a communication. The Supreme Court says stop everything. You said no. You're not going to stop. The Supreme Court, the judiciary is a separate branch of government. They cannot interfere with the legislative branch. Therefore, our rule states XYZ. So we're going to have our session. They went in the session, that's what they were saying. Oh. Now when Fala went on the side, see mental emptiness. And say, we are joining until Monday, when we move with our lawyers to the Supreme Court for the conference. Why you want to go to Supreme Court again? You said Supreme Court, the judiciary needed not to interfere because you are a separate branch of government. Moreover, your rules put you in the position to go ahead with session. So you were convening. So why you can continue convening now? You suspended your playground to go to the Supreme Court. You see, mental emptiness and certain group of people. That's why that Senate, even though they have their own problem, one or two, but I admire that Senate. The Senate has great men and women, highly educated men and women, far with good mental moderation than the guys, than most of them in the House of Representatives. Though the House of Representatives has some good guys too, but most of the people over there are mumu, junks. So they're going for the conference Monday. 49 remains the ultimate number to remove Kofa. 49 remains the ultimate number. All that thing they were doing, running all over the place, stooping so low, making themselves small, behaving too mechanical, nothing. You can't move a man. You see, Chief, the word STUPID, they're not cause. They're not cause. Even God used the word. So you don't say when the people using the word on the radio, then the people insulting the people being unruly. That's not true. It is the same as the word nonsensical. That's being stupid. You're running all over the place. You're ranting. You create a comedy stage. You're venting. Yet you're achieving nothing. You can't reach the 49. You're bragging that you have the majority. But the majority can remove the man. Isn't it stupidity? You're just revolving, just making noise, just acting like you have legitimacy when you do not have, but you have number and the number can't do anything because the number is infinitesimal. People who say they're educated can't reason well. The number is insignificant. That number they have for the 2, for the 3 is insignificant. The law says 49. And it is not, I'm not going to say it's not possible, but it is difficult to get 5 or 6 persons from the Kofa block going to. And the time they should have done that, the time to get that number, that time passed. So let's assume 9 persons went on their side. It can stay remove Kofa because the matter before the Supreme Court now. They can stay removed. The matter before the Supreme Court now, the Supreme Court has taken seize of it. So anybody cross over is for nothing. But I can preempt the Supreme Court ruling. I can preempt the Supreme Court ruling. It will be return to status quo ante. That's what the ruling will be, except otherwise. But I hold this to be true. This is my personal, candid opinion. My preempt is the Supreme Court will tell them to return to status quo ante. Status quo ante meaning the normal. You go back. It's like you're starting over. So at this point, the majority bloc will now move to Plan B, and the minority bloc will also move to Plan B. I do not want to believe that the Supreme Court will look at COFA bloc and tell them, you people are wrong, the majority bloc is right, therefore stand down. I do not want to believe also that the Supreme Court will look at the majority bloc and say, you people wrong COFA, therefore you people will have to relinquish everything, and then COFA is this or that. I am convinced, and this is my preemption, that the Supreme Court will tell them, after laying out some of the factors and conditions, return to status quo ante. At this point, all of them will accept, because you can do nothing beyond the Supreme Court's ruling, that conference. So, assume it went that way, both parties will resort to Plan B. The majority bloc will fight hard to maintain their number, and they will now develop a persuasive posture by which they can get people from COFA bloc going to them. COFA bloc, on the other hand, will be fighting the best they can persuasively to reduce, provided the two of them go that way or the majority bloc insists, will be fighting persuasively to get some of the majority bloc members on their side. Now, assume, hypothetically, that COFA got 2 or 3 or 4 persons from the majority bloc on his side. Nothing. They can't do anything again. So you know what will happen? And the same thing go for COFA bloc. So what's going to happen is they will just sit and say, okay, let's go, let's move. Let's move. We'll get back into the chambers and let's start doing the people's work. Let us not hold the people hostage. But they will not forget their plan to remove the speaker. They will be finding other ways and means than by which they can galvanize the number by convincing colleagues. And as soon as they are around 47, 48, they will come up. They will resurrect their resolution. Remember now, this thing is not only the legislature, it's not only the guys, or those guys are only on the stage acting because they are being programmed. This thing is the executive behind it. I told you people yesterday, I mean it, and I am convinced, I know we in this country, information can never hide. And that is why if you are living on earth, according to God, be at peace with everyone and hold your integrity and respect people when they confide in you. The executive is behind it. President Joseph Yima Boakai has never ever felt comfortable with Fonati Kofa. But Fonati Kofa had never been discerning enough, not farsighted. Till now, the president is not comfortable with Fonati. All of those things about budget preparation, submission, all of those things just to create the impression that, yes, they still recognizing. You can recognize somebody, but you can feel comfortable with the person. So the mastermind behind the whole thing to get Fonati off is President Joseph Yeman Boakai. And in this country, they can use no other place to achieve its goal but the legislature, because the legislature is purely for the love of money. Whenever the executive wants to execute a plan, do you see them querying, doing things, passing through the judiciary? No. We know we've been in this country for several years now. Martin Luther King said, one of the reasons that God has allowed me to live in this period is to see what is unfolding in history. So I can say that of myself. One of the reasons God has allowed me to live in this country all those years and now is to see what is unfolding, what unfolded in the past and what is unfolding now. So I know exactly how it has been with governments from the past in the present. The executive will always use the legislature as surrogate to complete or achieve its goal. Who the citizens complain on the most in this country? Who you hear them saying, if those people were serious, the country were? Who do you hear besides the citizens who don't have the position, the power, the authority, and those who have the power, authority, position? Who do you hear? You hear some of the legislators. You hear them talking. They said on radio, they go to intellectual centers, they get on their Facebook or podcast. What do you hear them say? They say that we legislators, we are the problem from this country. We're not serving our people right, because they see what their colleagues do. They see how some of their colleagues allow themselves. The next thing that is messing this country and it starts with the legislature also is patronage politics. Until we can get rid of patronage politics, this country will always be like this. So we'll be doing it for that. The Supreme Court, we all wait what is going to be tonight. I mean, on Monday, that will be doing it for that situation with the speaker and those other renegades. You're wasting the country time. So being over there, going into the legislature, what do you do? What do you achieve? Nobody can say they've achieved anything. I'm not going to insult anybody. That would be foolhardy on my part to do. That's not my nature. But you got conscience. You got conscience. You go to that legislature every day from Monday, with the exception of Friday. You got 2 days in the week to convene in chambers. The rest of the days are days for you to sit down and develop legislations, come up with different proposals that you can put on the floor. What did they do? Nothing. For the 3 weeks we're running now, nothing. Just few people keeping the country hostage. And the executive is enjoying it. And that's rescue. This is the first. Only in a rescue government we see lawmakers then go camp. You see, the small nurturing idea that wanted to, they go camp to RLJ. Bobo lawmakers then, inept lawmakers. Even if I part of that majority block, I will look at the colleagues and say, I don't have to go to RLJ to be camping. This is not anything of insecurity. We can stay at our houses. In the morning, we come to work and we discuss. And after that, we go to our respective places. Why are you creating insecurity? Why you in your own country, then you're feeling insecure. You know, in your opinion, what you're doing is right, but you're portraying insecurity posture. When you finish, then you run. You run with heavy security. Gunmen all around you. Gunmen behind you, gunmen in front of you. They carry you to RLJ hotel. Then they're showing gun all over the place. Hey, man. How investors will come to this country, man? Hey, man, what is that? If you know that you're doing, you have a clear conscience, why you create insecurity for yourself? This kind of thing can cause pressure. You can fall down and die, or you get crippled because you're not secure. You think you're secure, but you're not secure. You created insecurity. 30, 35 minutes, then you jump in convoy with police escort in front of you, gunmen showing gun all to the citizens, gunmen behind showing gun to the citizens, protecting you, as if the country in war. And you're the gunmen, and you're the people continue to use you. When people were fighting on Ryan, and you talk about boost, you start running here and there. Some of your lies are not security people. Because if people get few dollars, then you're acting, showing strength against your own citizens. What are you creating that insecurity for? Why are you making yourself insecure in your own country? Just a remove speaker, you acting like the country is at war. Like you the rebel commanders. So you must have the best of all bodyguards. Amen. But I see. Well, let me read some of your comments. Then we'll go. Why are you creating insecurity for yourself for? Why are you feeling insecure? To remove speaker, you have to go camp. Then you take huge armed men behind you, escorting you to RLJ Hotel. You think this thing will not finish? You think you will not go back to your houses? You can go, this thing can finish, you go back to your house, and the people want to chase you out of your house, they will chase you. If they want to attack you, they will attack you. You can build your house, you can build a fence until it reaches the sky. When it's ready to happen, it will happen. And when God gets vexed, you build your house, your fence all the way to the sky. God can say, you just pass right here, I open the door. Just how he opened the door for his disciples when that's other man chained them. Your pass right here, you go. We saw it with people. You think at RLJ you secure? You think at your house you secure? You think at the Capitol building you secure? You will not come outside again. You will come outside. Everything will finish. You will be walking around. You think that it's already to be walking around. You will still come outside. You will go live in the air when everything finish? Nonsense. Let me read some of your comments, then we'll go to the line, man. Yo, hold on, yeah? I beg you. Then we'll move to something else, yeah? Then we go home. Today, Friday. It's so hard. I don't really like to talk about these things, but you can't avoid it. So let's see some of you who have left your comment there about this whole stuff. Ezekiel Second Nibo say Liberia is in danger. Who else have commented? I know who you call free pro criminal. I know. Tell me if there is free pro criminal. Florence Tucker said, I want to ask something. Is the pastor who was preaching calling Kofa Pharaoh also in RLJ Hotel 2? Very good question. Very good question. I know, but all of the clerical staff or Secretariat, they left and they went to the majority block. Thank you, Florence. Very good question. All of the clerical staff or Secretariat, they left, they went to the majority block. Except for Major Sion, who we are told she is sick. Now, it is the last thing you want to do in this situation. You people are neutral. You people are working at the will and pleasure of the leadership. I think the leadership, they have a tenure. Eh? Yeah, when AB come to now, ask him. I think they have tenure. Some of the people, not all. So you want to leave yourself out of the people business. Maintain your status. If Kofa loses the election, I mean the fight, sorry, if Kofa loses the fight and a new person is elected, fine, then you can move. If the Kofa doesn't lose the fight, he remains, fine. Or if there is a reconciliation, and it's possible that the Supreme Court can broker a resolution, and the two people can go back and start business as normal. What kind of face you clerical staff will have? Why we can be so itchy? Why we full of impression in this country? In no time, they ran on that side. And all of the document, no document can leave from the so-called majority bloc to any institution in this country or out of this country. The people, they are powerless. Nobody recognize them. Then you jump and sit down there and say you're putting document together, you're calling roll. So all of them left. When the speaker and his people convened, the speaker and his people, their own session, it was just lecture hall. They just gathered to lecture because no clerical staff there. Those guys who make up the 42, they play the mind game well. They play the mind game well. They know that they can't move Speaker of Kofa. They know that they can't get the 49. So what they were doing is the mind game to pressure corner him that he will resign. Take all the clerical staff from there, that he will have nobody to detect to. You will have nobody to ask for record or to do a roll call or take everybody. And that will happen. They influence all the clerical staff to go on that side. So when Kofa and his people went, nobody there. The guys were only sitting and lecturing. The mind game was working. But at the end of the day, clerical staff know that your job is at risk. As soon as those people settle their thing, and may I say to you, clerical staff, the country, yeah, politicians, they can follow. All of those people, they are related. We saw that thing years back. All of them, they are related some with some. I don't see this thing looking like this. Oh, that's why when you over there, you got to know how you're talking. These people, they're just lawyers. When you watch two lawyers in court, if you haven't gone to court, try to take advantage of it 1 or 2 days. Just go to a court and see. When you hear the two lawyers arguing, you will think that they will never, ever speak to each other on earth. You will think that they will hold grudge for each other forever and ever because the way they argue. But I think that only legal intellectualism, as soon as they finish, you will hear the other lawyer call a man, my man, why you are in a restaurant or can they have lunch together? The man who the two of them are arguing, they're going to sit down to eat, enjoying themselves, because they are friends. They are not enemies. That's how the politicians look. All of these people that you see, all of them, they are close. Some of them are related. So you clerical staff, you have to be careful. It's not because you think these people have the majority, so they have the final say and they have the speakership now. It is possible when they reconcile, some of you might lose your job. Thank you, Florence, for asking that question. Who else? And Jawan Jah say the speaker is a solid rock. And he said, as Alaric Brown Waribi, he said, can you please tell the information that you have which shows that the president is behind the removal of Speaker Kofa? Sit down. Be asking questions. Sit down. You're in this country. You can be in a country and not following anything of the country. You're making noise. So it's not for me to tell you. I've said it as I am meeting. Boaga behind it. Boaga the movement. Behind it. Boaga has never felt comfortable with Fonati Kofa. Boaga has always wanted Fonati Kofa to move. When Boaga got there, who they came against about the main this, the main have this, and that the same Speaker Kofa, and they attempted first to move him when Fonati Kofa won the election against Rachel Kuhn, And all the people got vexed. Say down there, Larry. Pete Walker say, Sam, the rebellious and rudest lawmakers in the history of our country are fighting a defeated battle against a winnable battle in favor of the Liberian people and the speaker and his men. These rebellious lawmakers are finished. They are just briefing, but they are dead as they live. Who else? Okay. My man, start giving a hard time with evidence, man. Asata Miller said, Mr. Andrews, this country has now turned into rebel country under Bouaka government. But these ungrateful people calling themselves lawmakers will continue to deal with them in this country. Bouaka is a complete calamity that has befallen our nation, Liberia. God's word doesn't lie. It will surely come to pass. Who else? Confident D says, Sam, God will punish all of them. Those people in the legislature are the problem for Liberia. I don't blame those, okay, all day the quoting constitution. Okay, Jordan, continue constitution. David W. Papua Jr. say hi, King's family. Okay, you from the RI Howard, I run the RLJ and who else? Okay, and man, I know the law. Okay, let's take a few calls, man. Then we'll move to something else today, Friday. In the meantime, continue to play the cash money giveaway and get money in your pocket for the weekend. All the entertainment centers in Liberia are going to be jam-packed tonight, this evening. Everywhere going to be packed. And you want to be in that number because everyone is sociable. It's good to de-stress yourself after a whole week of work, but you want to do it moderately. I'm not saying that you should go drinking here and there. You can de-stress yourself by just amusing with your friends, lecturing. A lot more we'll talk about that. So get some cash in your pocket. Get some money. Play the cash money giveaway. Dial *799 *25# and play $200 Liberian dollars and $1 5 United States dollars and win for yourself 10,000 Liberian dollars. 10,000 Liberian dollars. Let's get to the line now and have your say on the show. Real Talk on Kings 88.5 with me, Sam Andrews, on this first day of November 2024. 0772 239933 and 0886 30 44 97. The female line 0777 98 0375. And you are on. Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon.
Sam, this is Beatrice Williams calling from the PHP community.
The woman who say she's related to the representative?
Anthony Williams, my brother. He is my brother.
Let's hear you.
Yes, I'm calling on Thomas Fala. From yesterday up to this time, we are not in peace, and most especially the people of PHP community. But I want to say the time that is happy, almost like when Judah betrayed Jesus. That it was looking like for Thomas Father to say every time when I call on your show or any other show, my Christ, I will lay it on Thomas Father. I'm not talking about other representatives because they are not they just came to CDC just to run on CDC popularity and take their position. But I'm talking about Thomas Father, who we campaign for, who we took from the playing field. His wife was saying all kinds of things. But I said this again, I continue to say every radio station is hard for me to call, but I will continue to call this week and next week. Woe unto Thomas Father. He will never get peace. He will never get peace in his life. A whole entire generation. You know what made Chancellor son to run away from this, from Ethiopia when his father left the arrested his father is because of the embarrassment. His father was doing wickedness. He accepted he supported his father. So after his father received, he was unable to live in the country. He ran away. He landed in the land of the lion den. He landed there, so there in Egypt. But I see everything will live after Thomas Father and his children, his wife, all of them will never go scot free. They will see everything they did to CDC. They will pay the price. They will continue to pay the price. Nothing that go upon it, the Bible says. Thank you for having me, Steve.
Thank you for coming on to. Have a nice day. Last night, as we were listening to AB, he said CDC tried making last minute 11th hour intervention. They got a breakthrough to Fala, and while they were talking to Fala, the wife came down and inserted herself as a buffer, disrupted the conversation, saying that it is a family decision, meaning that Thomas Fala owe explanation to nobody from CDC or wherever. When I heard AB explaining that, my mind ran to the story of Job and his wife. When the wives intervene and say, "Oh, come on, man, the cost God, so we're feeling." But in that situation, she doesn't want anything to happen to her. But she's creating a saying that if something happens, she will start to regret. When men are faced with situation, leave the men or men to deal with it. The most respectful thing that any woman will want to do is not to interfere with a conversation involving his colleagues. You can give ear, given the nature of it, but you don't want to be disruptive or unruly of a wife in that situation. When I heard AB explaining how she just jumped in and said, "Oh, that family decision," I said, "Oh, come on, man. Why your wife do that? You can just leave the people. The people did not go to force Fala to remain. They only went to speak to him and allow him to see reason. That's all. Fala is man enough. He's above 18. You are not going to force him. So why you, as the wife, will just insert yourself in that manner? That was not right at all. Hello.
Hello.
Your name and where you call from?
Anyway, I'm calling from Firestone to do, sir.
Let's hear you, sir.
Oh, my brother, all of this rigmarole that is going on for me, I don't blame the United Parties I made. I blame our so-called bookers, physicians that say they are the very lawmakers in the House of Parliament. You know that the man was not capable to lead you people. Why will you vote him first for the first time in January for him to become speaker for you people? Today, now you're joining United Party people to get the man out. So you don't blame the people. You don't blame the people today, you don't blame them tomorrow. They don't make it no more hard for the people to get out. It wasn't true. I met the civilian majority in the house, but for right now, all of them joining the United Party people to get their own partisan out. So who you blame in that whole situation? You don't have to blame for those people for me. I'm a politician, but for me, I don't blame those United Party people for the kind of attitude that's going on.
Okay, thank you. Hello.
Yeah, hello, how are you?
I'm doing good, and you?
I tell God, thank you, my son. But you know, the thing why you talking? Education, my mom can say education, not civil life. So the people, they are on scam that they 12 graders, they take it once. That's why all of them to the hotel. Because they have steps. They not take it once, they go camp. Where you go camp for? But now people that was educated, they say educated, they go to go cap. That was. They tell you what they are too greater.
Okay.
They tell you what.
All right, Mama. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you too.
We're getting information that the president is feeling the pinch, and he, according to what we've gotten, what is unfolding in the corridor of the executive mansion, President Bouaka is feeling the pinch. He's feeling uncomfortable. Apparently, he's been spoken to by external voices diplomatically about how the entire atmosphere is. So, according to what we are getting, he has spoken with the vice president, Jeremiah Kong, to use his professionalism in neutralizing the anti-Kofa bloc. That's what we're getting. That the president is feeling uncomfortable, that he's being spoken to by external voices diplomatically, and given the trend, given public pressure, given what they're hearing from the public and a potential or possible protest, the president has, according to our information, the information we're getting, he has spoken with his vice president, Jeremiah Kong, to use his professionalism in neutralizing the anti-Kofa bloc. In essence, don't allow this to happen. It will be bad for my administration, for my government. It will have a damaging effect. That's the information we've gotten. Please, don't take this as absolute truth, but this is what we're getting. It is also possible it could come out to be true, but this is the bits and pieces of information that coming in, that the president has spoken with his vice president to do what he can professionally to dismantle. Dismantle means that you seize a shooting hole again. You break it apart. That's the information we've gotten. If that is true, I know ABU will expand on it tonight, but this is what we've gotten. Don't take it as absolute true. Listen to me good. I'm speaking English. Don't take it as absolute true, but it is the information that we are getting. It doesn't say it is not true or it doesn't have substance or value to it. Yes. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Your name and where you called from?
I'm Kidder Koduswen, speaking from Tower Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the topic on the discussion. Really, man, dear brother, these people, we are all human in the flesh. We can err and go into different directions. But Thomas Father, in his human mind, something is controlling him. For his woman to come down and said, there is a family decision. Why the person of 25th edition and the hurricane went to him to discuss, and the woman said, let's go up. This is a family decision. Thomas Father will live with his conscience all the way to his grave. Because what he has done to the mission is wrong. It's wrong. We can't tell Thomas Father people die for his sake. But those people, you see, the plastic who they can put your head on tapping boat to say, I will die for you, and they will do it. But not the other people, especially the people from local, most of them, they are ungrateful. It's what Thomas Father is showing. But let him live with his bills.
Thank you.
God has a way that we all will be judged by his throne. Thank you.
Hello.
Good evening, my good friend and brother, Mr. Andrew. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. And you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. This is the people's governor for district number 10 at Damso Isaac, and I join you from somewhere around Nikutan. You know, look, that Ibn Masale then that God beating them, so you will like the way our mother then are getting involved into this politics. You see how God is fighting Speaker Kofa battle secretly. You see how he look at the mothers are singing in their period corner praying for the speaker. Look, my brother, God will prevail on behalf of the speaker. Look, why is more troubling for some of us as a vision to reimagine some of us that supported the party, my brother? We
again who were closer to the presume. Can you imagine having somebody from the past? No, God will point the man back to look. When somebody do something to you and you feel ungrateful to that person, the way God can reward you. Yet some of our modern day we mad are coming from some of them. God will fight the speaker back and we know at the end of the day will come up victorious. Let God continue to bless some of you that pay for mama that you are because you are some of your work with small something like the way some of our work radio Kigari when they have been carried away, but God will bless you for standing for history to make history in this country. Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Have a nice weekend. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. And you?
Yeah, thank God, brother. This is Samuel Carr, the vision and prayer card that giving more happy to the fire to deliver. And you know, sir, your presentation this afternoon is extraordinary. And I hope those guys will have the opportunity to listen. Or if any family members are close to them, I hope they follow the presentation. When you started quoting scripture. And that will be true. Because you can't continue to hurt people. We God will stay under the sun, under the rain, will put you there. You can so much to take home. Then even the little that is there again for us, you take it. You play with it, even when you say nothing, they will do to us. You think God is a dead God? God is living. Hey, that was the reason why I didn't go on every show last night. I got carried away. Especially hearing AB telling us that someone for white for us outside. But I don't come here to it. I will not market to pull us out. We the city, we don't want to throw us out like yesterday. Can you imagine that? This is our job. Someone for is CTC job. To hear what we are hearing, it's disappointing. But the only thing we can say we hope our brother speaker will stay by a word. Because that would be the most disappointing thing for us if he ever tried to say he will resign. If he went on to his decision and they bring their number, they remove it, so shall it be that they want to move on.
Nothing. Because what we're getting, if it turns out to be true, then everything is finished, including the investigation at LACC. What we're getting, if it is true that the president has intervened, with the instruction that they should not go further into this situation, that Speaker Kofa should not be removed, that the vice president must do everything he can, since he's the president on that side, though he's the president of the Senate, not president of the House of Representatives, but he can be used as an emissary, to neutralize it.
But this is what we have been saying. Say it things to you guys who always say the journalists that are standing with the 17. Because you guys are not flexing, the issue, and we're joining you people to flag it up. They in another community are listening that we are not happy. We're not happy. People are struggling, brother. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
As we go home.
Yeah, wish you the same too. It's 0772 23 99 33 0886 30 44 97. The female line 0777 98 03 75. And you are on the show Real Talk on Kings 88.5 with me, Sam Andrews, on this first day of November 2024. So if the president intervenes, well, it will be good. If the information is just information, the Supreme Court will make a decision. But we hold this to be evidently true that the president has intervened, because the way it is going. Hello,
Sam Andrews.
Yes, this is Sam Andrews.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing fine. And you?
Yeah, I'm not fine, Sam Andrews. This is my
Sissy, you are not fine. You are not fine politically, but you are fine as a human being.
As a human being, I'm fine, but in my spirit, man, I'm not fine.
Yeah, your political spirit, man.
Yeah, I'm not fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Look, let me say this. Look, I said Andrew, before God and me, some of Father yesterday, I almost went off yesterday. You understand? Some of Father is our blood. We brought him up, and we are pulling him up for the plain field when he was dusting a riot. You know this. You are a journalist. And you know this. But some of us will go yesterday and coming confused thinking about, oh, I went there to talk to the police. You are the peacemaker now. The tree, from people from the other group. You are the peacemaker now. What the post said about some of us, you not even prove them wrong. What the post said about you, I need to insult my friend. I asked you, my friend, because I said, no, it's not his doing. They said, the man's very deep. I asked you, my friend, my police. I asked you with them, you understand? I asked you with them, today, to see more fella, this is our blood. This is for taking in the water. So go and join. Don't never call yourself. I'm working at group. It's bad for me. Lord, say, Andrew, how much do you live? How much do you need to live? Money. Where is money? Where is money? Say, Andrew, how much do you need to live on earth? You will not tell the riches for you on the ground. As you keep naked, you will go naked. Say, Andrew. Then put it aside, leave the money issue. Don't go behind people and say that move take over and the road is here you made.
Okay.
The post told you. You said no, it's not true. So they to see you that you said next up to the rebel group. Call it that and guys are for the I'm looking at.
But mine is here. They are from day one, but I've been behind the thing. The same man who started it, and now the same man trying to end it. I draw you.
Yes, I understand that. He giving them money. Look, it's for the up. When the fish won't get ready, start for the up for it can down. You understand, say Andrew? So for me, we are not surprised. There's someone for like leave the CDC. Even all of them are with the CDC. We expect person that we are when he comes. Even the chairman, the secretary who want a press release. When we say on the issue, we tell them to resign. No, put them resign. Especially for the party. They resign. They put on the party. Remember, we the old man there, we will stay by them. No, we someone say, and you know me what I want. We stay by you. Look, we went all the places we went. We almost died. We threw our chest to the bullet.
All right, man.
You understand? You know, all I want to know. I'm so downhearted. What was it day? I'm so downhearted.
Relax yourself, man. Try to feel fine. Don't allow something to happen to you because of people politics. Okay. No, my sissy, relax yourself. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, man, sissy. Let's read some of the comments again. Those you are writing, especially of the information that you've just heard. That's the power of radio, and that's what Kings 88.5 is. The information comes incredibly. Joseph, Barcelona, Spain, say hi, Kings every family. I'm Joseph, Barcelona, Spain, writing from Jacobtown, Painesville. If care is not taken, and if one day the majority will remove the president, Honorable Councillor Fonati J. Kofa should not resign if they can get the magic number. Alex Carlos said, yes, myself, I just got that information. Yeah, that the president is uncomfortable. He's sick about this whole thing. But the main thing is he knows that the guys can get the 49, and with 85% of the citizenry, inclusive of the average minded population, said Fonati should not resign. They said Fonati should not. If you conduct a survey now across the country, 99.9% of the people, including those they call ordinary, uneducated people, will tell you Fonati should not resign. That message hit the president so hard because he himself heard it. All the lawyers, or majority of the lawyers, will even tell Fonati Kofa it will be the last thing that you ever do to resign. Yana boss, sweepers, zogos, who don't really know the issues politically. Because of it, they say, no, Fonati Kofa will not resign. The speaker will not resign. And those guys can get that 49. You go up, you can, and they can't get it. So it touched the president. He's feeling the pinch now. things not really working as the way he wants it to work, because the speaker is the chairman. The speaker is the chairman by our constitution. The speaker is the chairman in power. So you can't get the speaker doing anything. Then you, president, what you can do? You limited. Limited. You take part of jokers, put them in a place called representatives. Aliyu Masale said, Bwaka knows that Kofa is not going to resign. We will end up with constitutional crisis and interim government, and JMB will lose his presidency. So he needs to call on his lawmakers. I have said this over and over that JNB has to step in to avoid his government from being crashed down. And Jawon says, Sam Andrews, okay, thank you for the compliment. All of these praises, you direct them to AB. Yeah, I know. Thank you. I know you enjoy the presentation. Yeah, but you thank AB. You don't thank me. You don't give me the credit. You direct everything to AB. Yeah. Nathan Blair. Nathan Blair, you're leading there. Okay, I'm reading some of these comments again. You're leave T5. You leave T5. T5. I beg you don't cause the man to commit suicide. T5 right now is not himself. I've hold your foot. Your scale down on T5 small. Yeah. Please, we won't experience that Judas Iscariot thing. Because they're lambasting, you're blasting. The man goes to sleep. T5, the betrayer. He can't also T5 everywhere. The man is insecure right now consciously. I hold your foot. You don't let T5 fall off and he drop, then a different thing will back you. Your lead T5. He already done it. And Jesus forgave Judas Iscariot. Jesus never had problem with him. And he did what he felt he could do. He got his leg catch. He arranged with his people. He said they want our kids. And at the same thing with Fonati and Tomofala. Fonati getting versed with Tomofala, blasting him, saying all kinds of things. That ain't right. You lead a man. Let a man live with his conscience. If the man knows that where CDC talking from, if he knows what George Weah did for him, and that's why I like how AB put it, very many of these people who became CDC lawmakers all by themselves without George Weah, they were never ever going to be riding tinted windshield cars today playing with substantial United States dollars. Had it not been for George Weah, it was Weah that paved the way. It was Weah that gave them future today. God can use one person to give 50, 75, 100 people good future. AB couldn't have put it any better last night in his insightful analysis historically of this whole T5 situation. From the first day to the last day he crossed over. You lead a man. Let him enjoy himself. Let him enjoy his relationship with his newfound political leader in Joseph Yema Bwaka. Let him enjoy his morning with his colleagues. Let him enjoy his ethnic relationship. Let him enjoy his new political family and fame he's building. You leave the man. You're here, President. We are ever called to blast the man and say anything? The man took his decision. Former President, we ain't got problem with it. But it cannot crack CDC. Listen, you start venting. Let me speak to you on this briefly. If you are a member of your party, CDC, and if you know what your party is as an institution and not an association or a club, you will not be venting as you venting your anger at T5. One person crossing over and not leaving the institution is another thing. They are two different. The man said he only CDC. He stayed with CDC. But he took a decision in the interest of, quote unquote, the country. May I know how that benefits the country? But he took his decision. You leave the man in a place like this, in such a situation, you follow the leader. You hear Jangakowo release a statement. He said the executive committee will look at it. According to AB, in that great analysis last night, he said CDC stalwarts went there to talk to him. The wife came in and she said a family decision. The people must leave it. Tifa already made a decision. The people not for Tifa, they're not causing. To them most respectfully, they left. You don't see them taking to social media and on other radio stations insulting Tifa. They respect Tifa's decision. You can get yourself angry over something that you cannot control, that you can bring, you have no control over. You leave T5. The man did what he needed to have done. President, we are in a problem with the man. President, we are in causing the man where he is, to where McGill and the rest of the people here who are diehard supporters of CDC, they're not causing the man. They're not doing nothing. They respect the man's decision. That is what human being is. The man took into consideration all of the factors. He knew the lashback. He knew that he was taking a costly decision. That means everything that will be associated, the backlashes, he took all into consideration. And he went. So why you're venting? You elevating the man, you raising the man morale. You reducing yourself and raising the man's morale. You elevating T5, then you think you are vilifying him. If I were a sedition or any other situation that I find myself in like days, I would not be venting anger at that person. We will find ways now by which we can stop this from happening, that we wouldn't experience betrayal. We'll try to put a mechanism in place. 2, we'll try to develop a way by which the party can be more strong, viable, and concentrated moving into 2029. That's how you want to think. Vexation does not solve anything. Vetting does not solve anything. Vetting only hurts the person who is expressing it, and not the person who is directed at. So you want to cool off. You want to respect his decision. And you want to make suggestions or suggest to your party this time around, this is what we need to do. And this is how we need to do it. I think that is what you people should be saying now, suggesting to your party leaders on the future, moving forward, and not to be venting anger at Fala. It would mean nothing. Fala took the decision, he gone. He gone. Fala can reverse that decision because you're venting at him. Fala is on that side. So you see that now as a lesson learned, and make a suggestion or suggestions to your party how to strengthen it, how to be more viable, and put mechanisms in place that people will not, for whatever the situation, leave the party or betray the party in a frivolous way. That means not too serious. The reasons they will give, like Fala gave those flimsy thing there and say that's strong reasons for going to the majority bloc. Yeah? I beg you. That's how you reason in life. Don't get vexed. I know it hurts. It pains. But you want to sit down, take a deep breath, and begin to figure out. And the first thing that will come to your mind is, it is natural. It is divine, rather. It is divine. That's the first way you want to start looking at it. It is divine. They did it to the creator and sustainer. So, if it is happening, the same God told us that is going to happen. That is why you prepare yourself. So when I was talking about it yesterday, I try within my reach to avoid elevating Thomas Fala. If you follow that conversation yesterday, I focus more on the party, what it needs to do going forward, and not to elevate T5. Because if I just took up time and talking about T5 and T5 days and T5 is a betrayer, T5, what would it do? It would mean nothing. Since he took a decision that the party felt uncomfortable, though they tried talking to him and he wouldn't listen, so it becomes the responsibility of the party now to look at itself internally, what it needs to do so that such don't happen moving forward. Yeah, leave the man. Yeah. Yeah, leave the man. The man took his decision. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing, absolutely. Okay, that will be doing it for that. So play the cash money giveaway. Play the King's Cash Money giveaway and get 10,000 Liberian dollars in your pocket. Today's the weekend. The entertainment centers will be jam-packed. It's going to 4 o'clock. Some people have started leaving government offices and going to entertainment centers. And one thing I have observed, most government ministries between 3:30, latest, they are out at entertainment centers. They leave. It's all because nothing much is happening. I know that for a fact because the very people, they say it. So they leave early. They go and sit down at entertainment centers. Those who have the money, they start calling for their 2 beers. They're starved, amusing themselves until they can find it right to go home. So get 10,000 United States dollars in your pocket and join the entertainers to de-stress. Dial 799 star 25 hatch and play $1.05 or 200 Liberian dollars. And then you win for yourself 10,000 Liberian dollars. You're going to win if you play. You would not get the 10,000 if you didn't play. If you play, you will get the 10,000. And play as many times as you can. You play less money and you win huge cash. And you can stand as a man or woman. When you have money in your pocket, you are spirited. When you have no money in your pocket, you are dispirited. You don't want to be at that entertainment center and hoping that one of your friends will pass by and then he can offer you or she can offer you a bottle of beer or a stout or a Heineken. You want to prove that you're meant to. So where you are right now, just play. Just play the King's Cash giveaway and win 10,000. You can use 5,000